Hello everyone. In this video I will discuss one of the films called Reminiscence, and never forget that I always pray for you and your family to be happy and healthy always. We often hear the phrase, "The past haunts everyone," and the past is a series of moments where each moment occurs completely and perfectly, like pearls bound to the necklace of time. But in reality, the past doesn't haunt or even recognize us at all. If there's anything worthy of being called a ghost, it's us. We haunt the past. The story is set in a future not far from the present in Miami, Florida. The impact of climate change disasters has caused the sea to flood the entire area, and temperatures have risen to unbearable levels, forcing people to carry out activities at night, and the urban landscape appears as mere shadows. Widespread poverty prevails, with many residents forced to live in slums, and not a few of them building their homes on boats. These conditions make people feel depressed, and their only entertainment to calm themselves is to reminisce about happier times. Nick and Emily are comrades in arms, both former military members, running a unique business with a reminiscence tank. This tank allows people to relive pleasant memories by combining sedatives with advanced technology. What's even more impressive is that Nick can display and share these memories in three-dimensional holographic form to make them appear more real. One night, a customer arrives who is also a comrade in arms of Nick's from his military days, named Hank. He uses Reminiscence to return to bright and happy days 13 years ago when he used to play with his beloved dog. The sensation of reminiscence is indeed powerful because, in addition to reliving important moments, it reconnects with loved ones. However, this doesn't mean it doesn't have side effects. Nick warns that excessive use can lead to addiction, trapping the mind in the past. But who cares? Isn't that a price worth paying to find happiness amid eternal suffering? Each client's memories are stored in a drive, and after discussing the potential risks associated with the side effects of reminiscence, sometime later, as they were about to close up shop, a beautiful woman named May arrived, needing help finding a lost key. May's extraordinary charm captivated Nick, who even disregarded Emily's objections and immediately set up the necessary tools, sending May back to the past, specifically a few hours earlier. Shortly afterward, Nick meticulously observed May's memories, from waking up to arriving at work. As Emily suspected, May placed the key in her bag and accidentally dropped it in the dressing room. Nevertheless, Nick once again disregarded this and continued observing until he discovered that May was a singer with a beautiful voice. Sometime later, as they were closing up shop, Emily found an earring believed to be May's, and perhaps this was Nick's chance to impress by playing the fool with good intentions. The next evening, Nick promptly visited the same bar as in May's memory. After May finished singing, she approached Nick, who returned the earring. Nick and May engaged in light conversation about memories, and Nick became so enthralled with May's charm and allure that he didn't hesitate to comply with her request to escort her to her apartment. After a series of scenes filled with lustful conversations and actions hiding behind the name of love in the evening, May and Nick chat on the rooftop, once again about memories, but this time more focused on the reminiscence tank. According to May, Nick should use the machine more often. Suddenly it is revealed that Nick has been inside the tank all along, remembering all the memories with May. Yes, it turns out his beloved has mysteriously disappeared over the past few months. Nick has been using the reminiscence tank to search for clues, which worries Emily, fearing Nick will suffer from the side effects of reminiscence. Additionally, Nick has repeatedly visited the apartment and bar where May works. Unfortunately, he has found no clues. Both neighbors and co-workers explained that May left without any problems. One day, Nick uses the tank again to remember the beautiful moments and find clues. Shortly after, he wakes up frustrated, feeling the frustration mounting until he snaps at a potential customer knocking on the door. Feeling guilty, Nick goes out, but he finds nothing except for a very familiar earring. It must be May's earring. "She's back," Nick tells Emily. But Emily doesn't seem too concerned, as people who are troubled usually hallucinate for no reason. Sometime later, Nick and his colleague are at the police station to access memories from a dying criminal named Fox. Nick tries various methods to gather information until he finally uncovers a conversation between Fox and his boss, St. Joe, and a corrupt cop named Cyrus. The conversation takes place at a nightclub and is surprisingly shocking. May, Nick's beloved, is also there singing, but she looks very different, possibly under the influence of drugs. As Fox's memories unfold, Nick learns that May has been involved in nefarious activities, including stealing drugs from Joe. The next day, Nick impulsively travels to New Orleans, heading to Joe's club with a reference from Lorenzo. Nick pretends to initiate a transaction, but Joe quickly sees through the lie, resulting in Nick being beaten. Eventually, Nick confesses that he came for May. Joe explains that he hasn't seen the thief in a long time, and Nick is subjected to further torture. Fortunately, Emily arrives unexpectedly with a weapon, shooting everyone, including executing Joe, the drug lord. Upon returning from New Orleans, Nick and Emily discuss May's betrayal and her theft of a valuable item. They sound paranoid, but everything changes when Emily enters the Reminiscence tank. A memory shows that May visited Emily with a bottle of wine, and the two women talked about many things, including romantic relationships and family, as well as Emily's confession about her addiction to alcohol. Suddenly, Emily feels unwell and goes to the restroom. Unbeknownst to her, May sneaks into the storage room to steal one of the memory chips. After Emily exits the Reminiscence tank, Nick hurriedly heads to the warehouse to investigate and discovers that one of the memory chips belonging to a customer named Elsa has been stolen. The next day, Nick goes to the floating market to search for Elsa's whereabouts. Unfortunately, after searching everywhere and almost bumping into a girl, Nick receives news that Elsa has been murdered, and her son Freddie has been abducted by a woman who bears a striking resemblance to May. Nick resumes his search, heading to the last location where Elsa was seen. Nick was attacked by a man, and after making a call, the mysterious man threatens to kill Nick if he doesn't stop looking for May. Nick repeatedly uses the tank to witness the recent events, until Emily forcefully stops him. It's revealed that the attacker is Cyrus, the corrupt cop who used to work for St. Joe. To gather more information, they rush to the police station, where they see a crowd gathered due to the death of the wealthiest landlord, Walter Sylvan. Walter's wife, Tamara, and their son, Sebastian, are being escorted. Nick recognizes Tamara when they meet because she used to be a regular customer of the Reminiscence tank. Nick and Emily postpone their plans and return to the office to replay one of Tamara's memories, showing her pregnant and dancing with her husband, Walter. Nick also replays one of Elsa's memories, revealing her affair with Walter and having a son, Freddie. Nick and Emily piece together the clues and conclude that Walter may have wanted to eliminate Elsa and Freddie to prevent his wealth from falling into their hands. However, the evidence is still not sufficient. Disregarding Emily's warning, Nick prepares everything, including weapons, and heads to Tamara's residence. Sometime later, Nick arrives and is surprised to find that the wealth and luxury are still intact. He is greeted by the guards with cold stares, given a suit, and then required to dance as Walter with Tamara. Nick immediately puts an end to the charade by directly questioning Tamara about Cyrus, May, and Elsa. It turns out Tamara's memories have been damaged from excessive use of the Reminiscence tank, but she remembers a little about May and Cyrus, who used to work for her husband. Additionally, Tamara knows about her husband's affair with Elsa. Unfortunately, when she tries to explain, Sebastian arrives and calls the guards, believing Nick has harmed his mother. Before Nick is apprehended, Tamara provides clues about May and Cyrus's location, where all the criminals and outcasts hide. Nick immediately finds a familiar woman and follows her until he discovers Cyrus, who has been waiting while humming a tune that reminds Nick of his encounter with May. At this moment, it's revealed that Nick's meeting and relationship with May were planned. May's only task was to obtain access codes to steal Elsa's memory chip, containing secrets about Elsa, Walter, and their son. When Nick lets his guard down, Cyrus escapes through a window, leading to a chase and confrontation, ranging from the scorching sun to underwater. In the end, Nick emerges as the victor. Cyrus is promptly dragged and submerged into the Reminiscence tank. His corrupt police memories quickly emerge, starting from Nick's relationship plan with May. It turns out May was indeed working for Cyrus. May gathered and studied everything about Nick from old friends until she gained his trust. This revelation shocks Nick because for the past few months he believed May was his soulmate. Moving on to another memory showing Cyrus secretly disposing of Elsa, May witnessed the event and decided to save Freddie by taking him away to an unknown location. Another memory brings Nick back to an afternoon when he scolded a potential customer knocking on the door, only to find out it was May. Cyrus immediately threatened and dragged her away, eventually leaving her earring behind as a clue. This enraged Nick, prompting him to access another memory of Cyrus to find out what happened next. Cyrus forced May to reveal Freddie's location while drugging her. Surprisingly, May appears in the hologram and seems to speak to Nick through Cyrus's memory. May confesses her feelings of love and hints at Freddie's whereabouts. She is confident that Nick will capture Cyrus, leaving a secret message for him. Unfortunately, Nick then has to witness May's death. She consumed all the drugs and ended her life. Of course, Nick, consumed by anger, seeks revenge, but death seems too merciful for Cyrus. Therefore, Nick accesses the most bitter memory in his life and commands Cyrus to keep remembering it, while also increasing the electrical tension to ensure Cyrus dies slowly. Sometime later, Nick promptly returns to Walter Sylvan's mansion and confronts Sebastian, who turns out to be the mastermind behind Elsa's murder, with the motive of becoming the sole heir to Walter's wealth and power. Sebastian intends to shoot Nick and tries to shoot himself, but he's too cowardly to go through with it. Finally, Freddie is picked up by the police at the secret location indicated by May, and Nick also meets Emily again to tell her everything about May, Cyrus, and Elsa. Life is too short. Therefore, Nick suggests that Emily should move on and reunite with her family, while he himself walks back to his office where riots are happening in the area. Certainly, Nick won't be let off easily, but he believes the district attorney will grant something for his actions that uncovered the cases of Walter and Elsa. Nick decides to live within the memory where he and May once shared love. Several years later, Emily and her grandchild visit Nick, who is still asleep in the Reminiscence tank. Emily explains their differing perspectives, but cannot deny that it's best for both of them, and the film concludes. And that's it for the story series of this film. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to support this channel by subscribe, like and share. See you in the next video. Goodbye.